All right, hey guys. Today's topic, how love affects discipleship, and I brought a little something with me today. Gonna read a couple of excerpts, just a few paragraphs, just real quick. Love this book, love this author. So hopefully you like it. Hopefully it will speak to you, right? Hopefully it will impact your life, because I think ultimately that's where we want to go, right? So let's just dive right in, all right? So it's called The Three Colors of Love, the art of giving and receiving justice, truth, and grace. So he starts off on foundations and he says, love. It is one of the most central words of Christian theology, and yet one of the foggiest words on planet Earth. Many Christians who use this term communicate a clearly secular understanding rather than a fully biblical concept. Now, I think, it's just given that when anyone says the word love, that everyone, knows what love is, knows what love means, knows what love's all about. And doesn't assume that perhaps, especially for newer believers, that we might need to clarify some concepts here, right? We might need to say and clearly say, here's is a secular view of love, and here, let's unpack a clearly biblical understanding of love, which I'm going to say doesn't happen for many people. I know it didn't happen for me. And when I read this book, 15 years into my Christian life, I realized after reading the book, after having gone to Bible college, I've attended seminars and heard much preaching, I never studied love, nor had I heard a teaching about love. Of course, I've heard it referred to. Of course, we mention love. We speak about love. We tell people we need to love. God loves us. We use it all the time. But in terms of actually studying it, I realized, wow, I studied a lot of things. I never studied love from a biblical perspective, which, sad. And my life was, negatively impacted. I'm sure I could have ministered better. Obviously, right? I could have loved better. I could have loved my wife better. I could have loved my kids better. I could have loved other people better for sure. So, and just because I read the book doesn't mean it changed my life. You have to apply the truths. And what's hard is when your paradigm and the train that you've been riding on for so long has gone so far down the track, it's hard to turn. It's hard to come back and relearn and unlearn. And so, but I'm back at it. I like to come back to this book and remind myself and keep challenging myself to grow in love. So hopefully, you will find it helpful. So, he talks about how there's a secular view and a fully biblical view. And, then he goes on to talk about how, let alone we don't have a biblical view, then let alone putting it into practice. So even what we do have, even what we do know, we all know pretty much, right? 1 Corinthians 13, right? I mean, love is patient, most people can quote it, right? It's pretty much in every wedding, right? But to actually practice love, to live a life of love, I remember hearing one speaker, and I think I was listening to a tape, and he was talking about how he was hearing from God, and God was talking to him. God was telling him, you're known all over the world for your gifting, for your ministry and your gift, but you're not known for love. Love is not the defining characteristic of either you or your ministry. And when I read that, heard that, it was like God was speaking to me, and what's hard is, we hear from God oftentimes, but then what do we do with that? Do we really follow through? And, I believe I've grown in love over the years. I do believe that. However, there's a lot more to go for me, and perhaps you might feel the same way. Yeah, I could grow in love some more, So if you think maybe you could, then great. Keep listening. And also, certainly discipleship is all about love. So, all right, so let me just read just a couple more things. That's all. Just a couple of more sweet ditties. So he says here, before we Christians criticize the world's false concept of love, right, we would do well to consider carefully how loving our church churches and groups are, and how accurate our own concept of love is, right? And then it's easy to just start judging other people and, oh yeah, those people don't love, whether the world or we're judging other churches or whatever. But before we criticize, we should just look at how accurate our own concept is. And again, I'm going to say, don't assume that your concept is fully biblical. I wouldn't assume that. Maybe you can confirm that after some serious study, but I wouldn't assume that. He goes on to say, the sad thing is that there are many communities in which believers may grow in their knowledge of the Bible, but not in their ability to love. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm going to say that's true for way too many people. There's a lot of Bible knowledge and not a lot of love. I remember years ago, I would just be asking, where's the love? I mean, I hear all this and see but where's the love? I just kept saying, where's the love? I was really frustrated, I went from Arizona to Maine because I believed my friend Grimaldi that the church that I ended up being on staff in, they actually loved people. Like that was actually what they were all about. And turned out to be true, thank God. And but I was willing to go across the country to find a place where love is actually paramount, not programs and not pointing to all the things that we do. Good. Do good things, obviously, right? I mean, but we can do good things, right? Though I blah, 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 but have not love. That's common in too many places. So, what else we got? He says, how is it possible for a church to be so underdeveloped in its ability to love that it actually cultivates the very disease it was originally intended to cure? Right? It's just a good question. How do we actually be so underdeveloped that it actually cultivates the very disease of lovelessness? Right? That's the disease that we're supposed to cure, that disease. It's crazy. Vast segments of the Christian church have been massively influenced by misconceptions of love. Consequently, people firmly believe, now listen, people firmly believe that their personal understanding of love is exactly what the Bible teaches. Again, assume, right? They have become so accustomed to false concepts that they read them into the Bible. Again, this is a major problem in the church. Lovelessness is running rampant in the church, unfortunately, right? So he's talking about misconceptions. He's got one here. He says love is always soft, or it's always romantic. It's always associated with this warm, fuzzy feeling. And if I don't feel this feeling, then it must not be love, and I must not be in love anymore. And that love is, while that may be a part of love, people kind of got too many eggs in that basket, if you will. They can't be hard, because that's not loving. Tough love, foreign to them, right? Of course, you have people on the opposite side. Love is always hard. Hard, I'm loving you. It's harsh, because I love you and I'm harsh. How about this misconception? If you really love me, you must be an enemy of my enemies. So people have that perception. People have the perception that love is sex, right? Even Christians, we love each other, so therefore we can sleep together even though we're not married. But wait a minute, I thought the Bible said love is patient. Isn't that the first thing it says in Corinthians? Love is patient? But a lot of people, you can't tell them that. No, we love each other. And that's the justification for entering into a sinful relationship. Right? Off. And then love is earned, right? Some people are hard to love because they feel like they haven't earned it. And many of them, their sense of value and worth is so low that they're never going to earn anyone's love. And some people, they do for you, but it's about trying to earn your love, right? So false conceptions, false precepts, false ideas, they need to go. Now, here's just two things that I just love here. He says, when God expresses his love toward us, he doesn't just give us something, he gives us himself. It's not like God's over here, and then he gives you something separate other than when he loves you, he's just giving you something separate from himself. No, when he loves you, he's giving you himself. And then this next sentence says, the essence of the Christian understanding of love is that we give ourselves away, right? It's not just some people, they try to love you by what they do or some other means, but to actually give yourself away. But yet, of course, it makes sense. Why don't we do that? Because we don't know who we are. We've been so judged and so shamed. We don't feel we have anything worthwhile to give when it comes to ourselves. So maybe I'll try to do this for you. I'll be nice to you. I'll be nice, I'll do thoughtful things, but to actually give ourselves away. A lot of people live in relationships and they're not giving themselves away. That's not really a part or a big part or a major part of what's going on, And I just think those are some deep thoughts, Like back in the 80s, my wife was just telling me deep thoughts with John Candy or whatever that guy's name was. Whatever, I can't remember his name was. Then he's just coming up with crazy stuff. Anyway, tangent, back to the topic. So his main idea here in the book is basically that there are three fundamental dimensions of God's love: grace, truth, and justice. And again, even here, there are perceptions and perspectives of these things that can also be non-biblical or less than biblical. You need to be more biblical, right? So he kind of unpacks that as well. So if we just say grace and truth and justice, right? For example, many people are called grace. The Bible says that grace teaches us to say no to ungodliness, where many people in the church today are like, well, because of grace, we're enabling ungodliness. We're approving of excusing ungodliness in the name of grace. So that's a false concept. So again, back to false concepts of love, right? So he kind of unpacks those things. I'll stop there with the book because I think it's awesome. I think it's worthwhile. The only thing I will say, and I will warn you, is that if you have an over-romanticized view of love, you probably won't like the book. Because there is a studious component, like the Bible says, study to show yourself approved, right? A workman who handles the word correctly, right? So sometimes study isn't fun. Sometimes it isn't warm and fuzzy. And just because you're studying love doesn't mean it's all going to be the warm and fuzzies while you're reading it. Now, he does, in the middle of the book, kind of help you assess where you are weak in love and how you can grow in love. So that's very practical, very helpful. And then the ending of the book is all kinds of steps of exercises to help you grow in love. So beyond just, saying a prayer and hoping love drops down and fills your heart with warmth, and you just run out there with flowers and cookies and candy and hugs and kisses for everyone. Maybe there's some more to it than that, and some more practical ideas, and maybe some things that aren't necessarily so warm and fuzzy, but yet are still very much equally loving. And so he's got a lot of practical things at the end of the book to actually go beyond mere concepts to actually putting love in practice. Love this book. You may not like the author. Some people say, I don't like his style. Okay. Do you want to grow in love? Look past the style and listen to what the teaching is biblically and apply that to your life. You're going to like that. You'll grow in love. And you reap what you sow. So that's just my little bit there, my little warning. I will have a link in the description below for the book. Also a little tool that I have found helpful, kind of like, sometimes books, there's just so much, you can be overwhelmed. I like just a few key verses for me that just kind of remind me and keep me focused and help me to refocus on love and what it's all about. So I have that in the description below as well. So hope you'll check that out. Now, obviously the Bible says that in the last days, the love of many will grow cold. Actually, the Greek word is the agape, that God kind of love will grow cold. So it was there, right? Like in the book in Revelation, when he's talking to the Ephesians, he says, your love has grown cold, right? I believe that what Jesus was saying back then to the church of Ephesus, he would probably say to many churches today, your love has grown cold. See the height from which you have fallen and get back to doing those things that you were doing when love captured your heart, right? Just a little something. Leo Tolstoy said, I believe it was Leo Tolstoy who said, Tolstoy, right? I hope I'm getting that right. But the aim of life is to simply grow in love. Now, I love that quote. I remind myself of it, and I drift easily, you know? Isn't it sad? I mean, it's supposed to be the most important thing in the world, and we drift so easily. We'll drift towards other things, away from love and towards other things very easily, right? But yet love is supposed to be what we're known for. But I don't think that love is really what the church is mostly known for, right? If you go out in the world and you ask them what we're known for judgment, hypocrisy, molesting children. Yeah, yeah, sign me up for that. Yeah, I want some of that. No, not really, right? Now, are there loving churches? Absolutely. Are there communities that point to their church and say, those people are loving? Yes, absolutely. I want to be that. Sadly, those are an extreme minority, I would say, in my experience and from what I understand. This video isn't about trying to put anybody else down. It's, let us all just simply look at ourselves, right? Especially if we want to make disciples, then, we just want to ask ourselves, whatever I do when I make disciples, is love going to be, the thing that I'm mostly about? Because, without a biblical view of love, discipleship, A, it's not going to happen, and B, it won't have the impact that we're hoping for, right? Because, we're getting together in this we're going to have a little discipleship group, but then it's a download of knowledge, not a great impartation of love. You see what I'm saying? So love has everything to do with discipleship. If you love me, you'll obey me. God married the ideas of love and obedience. So discipleship for me is all about loving God, loving yourself, and loving others. Love, love, love. That's what discipleship should be about. Love, love, love. First and foremost, above all things. Reminds me of the song that we used to sing at Mont Lawn Camp. Anybody from Mont Lawn, shout out. I'll just sing it real quick for those of you who might be curious about my singing voice. I always like when people say, oh, you don't want to hear me sing. Oh. I'm like, no, yes, I absolutely do. If you squeak and squeal and scrawl or whatever you're doing, please, it's entertaining. Let's hear some singing. So I'll sing for you just real quick. How's it go? La 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 la. Just got to warm up the chords, All right. Love, 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 love. Christians, this is our calling. Love your neighbor as yourself, for love is of God. So there you go. If you don't like my singing, I apologize in advance. But anyway, the words that stick out to me are that it's our calling, I remember when I wasn't in the ministry and I was all bummed out and feel like I was failing God and I was less than because I totally identified with the ministry way more than I should have and still struggle in that area. I remember God said to me, he said, but you're bummed that you're not fulfilling the call to ministry, but you can fulfill this call, right? And he talked about, it's 1 Corinthians 1:9, where it says, for he has called you into fellowship with his Son. He has called you into fellowship with his Son. He who called you into fellowship with his Son is faithful. That's the highest calling. And when you're called into fellowship with God, you're called into love, right? I think there's a lot of people that's like, oh, what are you called to? What's the first thing? If you ask people, what's your calling? Oh, that's called to the ministry. I'm called to worship. I'm called to evangelism. I'm called to prayer. My call is, that love isn't the first thing that people would say, generally. I'm called to love people. I'm called to grow in love. That's the highest calling. I don't know. But again, the love of many will grow cold in the last days. We're going to have to fight it, guys. There's a spirit that's fighting love, and it seems to be winning in many places. I just pray that poison, that we can just, God by his Spirit will extract that poison out of us. Like a viper, we've been bitten by lovelessness, by this waxing cold that comes over our hearts. We drift so easily, So anyway, So what does love have to do with discipleship? Everything. So there you go. That's all I got. Hope you honestly take some time to reflect. I really hope you'll check this out. I really hope you spend some time studying and praying and getting back on course, because it's really, love is really what it's all about. So thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click that notification bell, and we'll check you in the next video. And just wanted to drop that on you. Love, to go with the video topic of the week. Love you.